Hello, and welcome to On the Patio with Mr. D. Hey, you know, there's been a sport camera war going on for quite some time now, and then GoPro has been the dog. They've been the leader of the pack. They've been putting out the highest technology, but there's been a lot of competitors out there that are trying to take them on. Now, I'm talking a lot of sport cameras. There's a lot of clones out there. We've got the PicTech here. We've got the iCam. We've got the Sony. That's not a clone. This is actually a pretty good camera. We've got the Ultra USD. There's all kinds of those that are on the market, and then you got the GoPro Hero. You got the GoPro Hero 3. You got the Hero 4 and the 4 Black, and then you've got the GoPro Hero Session, and you got the GoPro Hero 5, and then comes along this outfit called Yi. Now, Yi comes out with a Yi Lite, Yi Discovery, and then a Yi 4K, and then a Yi 4K Plus. Well, what's all that mean? Now, the difference between the Yi 4K and the Yi 4K Plus, Yi was smart enough to keep focused on the big dog, which is GoPro. And when they came out with voice commands, Yi came out with voice commands. Actually, in a recent update on the standard Yi 4K, you can get voice command by doing their update, and the voice command option works great. The other thing that Yi did is when GoPro went to 4K at 30, Yi went to 4K at 30. When GoPro came out with the Hero 6, which is 60 frames a second at 4K, so did Yi. So I think of the two battling companies out there, or the ones trying, I guess, to either reach or pass the king of the hill, which is GoPro, is the Yi camera. So I've been looking at that for quite some time. I really didn't know which way I wanted to go. Do I want to get one of these? I've got enough action cameras to fill a bucket. So I use it on my kayaking stuff. I mean, I mount up 8 cameras on my hard kayak. 3 of them have gimbals on them, like these here. And I have the GoPro Hero Session up on my cap, and then I have normally the GoPro Hero 5 Black mounted on a pole off to my right, which is spinnable, and that's also mounted on electronic gimbal to where I can do my interviews and stuff like that from the kayak. And that's what I use that for. But I wanted another camera without spending $400 or $500 that would give me the results I was looking for and be able to be voice activated and do 4K. And I don't care about 60 frames a second. It's not in my wheelhouse. But I wanted it to be voice activated. I wanted it to have really good image quality, decent audio. When I really want great audio, this is really weird, I'll record the same segment as I'm recording, and then I actually hit the record button on my Hero Session because I like the audio that comes from that, and plus it's right here, so it's almost like having a portable mic. Neither of these cameras have outstanding audio, straight up. They just do not have it. GoPro has a little bit of an edge. The Yi is not really bad. It just depends on the settings and where you're at. So one of the things I wanted to do real quick was let's have a shootout, as we have eliminated all these other clones that to even come close to the GoPro cameras. They're just not even in the same league. Some of them imitate 4K. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff out there. But then I got hold of the Yi, and I said, okay, we're going to have us a shootout between the Hero 5 Black and the Yi 4K, and let's see who wins. So let's get this thing going. So I'm going to be testing out the audio. I have no external audio microphones or anything like that, so we're using strictly what's offered by those two cameras. And during post-production, I'll split them up so you can tell which one's which and hear the quality and make a judgment for yourself. Okay, here we go. We are continuing our nature walk here. And with all these greens and the blue sky and everything, I'm really curious to see the color saturation between the Yi and the GoPro Hero 5. So we'll see how it works out. We're about ready to wrap this up, and then we're going to load up the kayak and put it in the water. Go out and play with that a little bit and see how it does on the kayak. Now again, we're testing these on gimbals. The GoPro Hero 5 Black has the Hohem XG1, and the Yi 4K has the Yi gimbal. And we're coming up on my truck here with the kayak, so we'll be shutting this portion down and putting this thing in the water and get these action cameras fired up along with their gimbals. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Today's test of the shootout between the Yi 4K and the GoPro Hero 5 Black will be on gimbals out on a kayak. Here you can see the setup here, and I'm just about ready to launch them. I've got both my monitors down here, so we're going to get set up over here where the sun's a little bit better, and then we're going to cruise alongside the lake, turning on the gimbals. The gimbals being used today for the Hero 5 Black will be the Hohem XG1, and the gimbal for the Yi will be the Yi wearable gimbal. So let's get started. First thing to do is power the gimbal on. That one's on. That one's on. GoPro, start recording. Yi, begin recording. Okay. Now, one of the things I like about both of these is they are both voice activated, which makes a big deal as far as being able to control them, because my hands are busy with the paddle. So this is a cool way to do it. And today we'll be looking at the camera performance, image quality, and the how well these gimbals work. Now today's the first day that I've been using the Yi gimbal. It's very similar to the Hohem XG1. Is pretty much the same. You're not going to see that much difference. Gimbal operation seems to be really smooth. Now these cameras are set identically the same setting. Both are set on 4K at 30 frames a second. No super views or anything like that. So the results coming out of these will be identical. As we paddle around Lake Hammond. Now you can see my setup here. What I've done, I've got my iPad here, which is monitoring the Yi, and then my iPhone down below, which is monitoring the GoPro Hero 5 Black. But all seems to be working really great right now. I'm out here at Lake Louisa State Park. This particular state park has 3 lakes on it. Actually 4. One's kind of hard to get to, but you have Lake Hammond, Lake Dixie, and then of course Lake Louisa. Lake Louisa is a pretty big lake. Now, Lake Hammond is the smallest of the chain. It's not very big, maybe 1.5 miles in circumference, but not much to it. But it's really great for what I do here, as doing these reviews and stuff like that. Okay, I think we are done with this part of the gimbal test. Okay, what I'm doing today is doing a side-by-side comparison, having these two sport cameras mounted on the windshield of my truck, and going to be doing again a quality check, audio, and then we'll be testing time-lapse later on today and see how their time-lapse does. Well, it's over. It's done. The shootout is over. We're going to find out who wins between these two cameras right here. The GoPro Hero 5 Black versus the Yi 4K. Now, understand, I did not test it against the Hero 6, and nor did I test it against the Yi 4K Plus. This battle was specifically to take on these two cameras right here, and let's see who won out. So let's talk audio. I have to give the edge to the GoPro Hero 5 Black. For closer up audio, it doesn't distort as much as the Yi 4K does. However, the Yi 4K audio gets really good the further away you are. As you could see in one of my test clips there, the audio is clean and crisp, where on the GoPro Hero 5 Black, it was struggling to pick up the audio. The next thing I looked at out there was image quality. Now, this really surprised me, guys. I thought the GoPro would win the image quality hands down. No, it wasn't even close. You saw me, I had to edit some of the footage there on the Hero 5 Black just to match the quality of the Yi 4K. Now what I found out that I had to make color gradient changes, I had to make exposure changes depending on the conditions on the GoPro Hero 5 Black, where I didn't have to edit in post-production any of the Yi 4K footage. Nothing. It was perfectly set up. Now understand, these were both set at the exact same settings. Now there's a difference in lens size, we know that. I think one's 55, one's 170 or something like that. But again, I was looking at what would be best to capture the best image quality, audio, and ease of use. So right now, audio wins right here, GoPro Hero 5 Black. Image quality, both in photo imaging and video imaging, hands down, the Yi 4K. So when you're looking at that, that's kind of this is a tough one to call. So now let's take the next thing. Ease of use. GoPro has a nice touchscreen system. It's really not hard to navigate. Some of the preferences are when you want to scroll down, you have to hit preferences, and if you don't hit it right, you get it all messed up. They could improve a little bit on their menu optioning and touchscreen options right here. Now, as far as the Yi goes, the Yi touchscreen, which is bigger than the GoPro Hero 5 Black, has a very user-friendly touchscreen. You can navigate through this thing really quick, get your Wi-Fi setups done, your voice actions done. All these kind of things are very, very easy to do on the Yi 4K. So ease of use has to go to the Yi 4K. Photo quality, definitely Yi 4K. So GoPro's kind of losing ground here. Now finally, we're going to look at some of the build differences here. Now, GoPro wins flat out having a waterproof exterior case without having to put an outside case over the top. That's a big thumbs up for me because I'm in kayaks all the time, and sometimes the unfortunate happens and they go in the water. Sometimes I want to take the GoPro off the Hohem XG1 gimbal, put on a selfie stick because I'm in real crystal clear waters and I want to dip the camera in the water to do that. Now, as Yi goes, the Yi is not waterproof like you see it here. It is just not. The problem is you have to go now buy an external case which will allow you to go take it underwater and all that kind of thing. But in my case, that doesn't work because I have it mounted to a gimbal. If I have it mounted to the gimbal like it is here and then try to mount the waterproof case onto a gimbal, it's not going to work. I can't get it to mount. So there's a real problem there. So as far as the way it was built and waterproof ability and all that kind of stuff, winner goes to the Hero 5 Black. So it comes down basically to the last item, which is cost. This is $299, and the market's changing a little bit because GoPro actually is in trouble on the market. Because of all the competitors out there, their popularity is dropping very fast. So they came out with this new Hero that has the same properties as the Hero 5 Black, except it doesn't shoot 4K, it only shoots 1080p. But it sells for $199. To me, that just doesn't make any sense. Because right here is the Yi 4K, shoots excellent 4K video. It has all the other settings in there for 2.7 and 1080 at different frame rates and all these kind of things, touch screen. And this sells for $169. So when you're looking at that, you know, it's kind of hard to go towards the GoPro unless you're using it for something other than what I do. Now, understand, this is kayak photography, wildlife photography, stuff like that. That's what this whole review is based on. So this is strictly my opinion, folks, because I use these on kayaks all the time. I take them out, I mount them up. I have a floating tripod where two of my clones sit on there. They do their thing. So when you're looking at that, I look for image quality, ease of use, and voice activation. Those are the three key factors that have to be met before I even look at purchase price and other things like that. When it came down to the Yi 4K, I got to be honest with you, I procrastinated on this unit for a long time because I own a load of cameras. So what do I need another one for? But I wasn't getting the image quality that I was looking for and the ability to use voice activation because the Yi 4K is mounted behind me on a mount pole. So I can operate the application and see what it sees, and then I can give it voice commands for it to start and stop and all that kind of thing, which gives me better battery life and all those kind of things when I'm out on the water. The same thing holds true for the GoPro Hero 5 Black. Now, I got to be honest with you, this was a very, very close shootout, but the winner, I got to give it to the Yi just because of its image quality alone. That's what edged out the GoPro Hero 5. The problem with that was I had to do post-production and color grading and all that kind of thing to get it to even match what the Yi put out raw out of the camera. They had good audio. The pricing is too high. If GoPro was to bring this down to $199 and sell the 6 for $299, they'd make a killing. They would sell these things, it would blow off the shelf, because everybody doesn't need 4K at 60 frames a second. I use 4K 30 frames a second, period. That's all I need it for. I don't need any of this other fancy 120 frames a second stuff and all this, because I don't shoot this type of video. I only shoot from the kayak, most generally, or when I'm out on a nature walk, I mount it on a stuntman backpack mount with the gimbal, and as I'm walking through, it'll sit here like this and do its thing. One of the things I did find out during this whole process, the old Hero Session kicked it out there. The image quality was outstanding. If you want a really, really good small compact camera that you can wear on your cap that doesn't weigh the bill down, this is the way to go. You don't need the Hero Session 5. And first of all, it's got too many problems. I owned one, it overheated, it burned up, I sent it back. And I said, I did some research online and I found out that the Session 5 was having problems with overheating. And when I saw that, you know, I don't need those kind of problems. So I will stay with my regular Session. It shoots excellent video. It shoots, has very, very good audio. The only thing it doesn't do is shoot 4K. But I can upgrade to 4K during post-production. So, you know, what can I say? Well, that kind of wraps it up. The winner, in my opinion only, is the Yi 4K camera against only the GoPro Hero 5 Black. Now, it blows out, the Yi 4K blows out every one of these clones out here, just ate them alive as far as image quality and all that kind of thing. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We did a lot of things out there. We did burst shooting, we did photo shoot, we did time lapse, we did nature walks, gimbal mount, we did kayak mounts, and was able to look at these in post when we put them up. It was a tough battle. It was very close, but image quality is my key thing, and the Yi wins it. Hey, we'll see you on the next one.